not to get on to JSA issue 9. Geoff Johns and David Goyer writing with Stephen Sadowski on the art. So this is the conclusion to the 3-part story.
Nailed it.
I knew it was coming up. I knew it wasn't a long arc, right? It was one more than I was expecting.
Does it make you even feel better that you get to the end of this and go, oh, it is next issue?
Yes, the ending does set up the Wildcat issue that I was expecting to be soon, and it all makes sense. Sets up the Injustice Gang, which looks great. I love that page, but that's I swear I put this book back to the page that the start this issue. It's on the start of the next issue. What? Come on.
I hate it when that happens. Sometimes Comixology does that to me as well. I
swear I moved it, but okay. Here we go. So. Obviously we've been digging this story. We start off and there's the Shadowlands infecting the world and chaos ensuing. Obsidian's laughing like a madman. It's everything's going wrong, and we have Alan trying to go after Obsidian, try to do his thing, as the others are running from the still shadow infected characters. So there's a lot of action pages at the start. Hot Girl saves Stargirl for one moment, and again, I'll just reiterate, I know that she's not called Stargirl yet technically, but it's just easier than the Star Spangled Kid.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is a mouthful. I'm pretty sure that's a good reason why they changed it. Maybe more than anything. Honestly, fun read, very quick read as well, because it is so much based in the action.
Yeah, a lot of it is just getting the teammates back to normal. So Stargirl zaps Hourman, and then Hourman freezes Flash in time, basically.
Yeah, slows him down enough that it'll take him at least a few minutes to get from point A to point B. Fate kind of
saves himself because the helmet is just like, screw this shit.
Yeah, the helmet kind of saves him. Yeah. Meanwhile, Atom Smasher's actually like barricading like all the shadow people in the middle of the street. He's got like trucks and cars all stacked around him, with Ted Rice, the stepfather.
I think it's Jim Rice, by the way.
Oh, Jim Rice, sorry, on his back. I don't know, Mr. Rice. You know what I mean?
I do, but I noticed it last time, and I was like, fine, you'll remember next time. You'll get it right.
Not from me. So, but yeah, you got Obsidian. Honestly, the Obsidian and Alan fight really, the art really shines when it gets to the end of that, because
I'm assuming there's no pun intended there.
Very intended, always intended. So, where Alan basically says, I wrote the book on willpower, right? I before all this, I was, before I was called Sentinel, I was Green Lantern, and we get this great 2-page spread where he blasts them, full energy with green light, of the green flame specifically. Obviously, it looks very different from Green Lantern blasts, but it's this glorious 2-page spread.
What I loved, this is something that sometimes we'll talk about things, especially on the main show, and there'll be this nice kind of feedback loop where this will reference something that we talked about recently, or vice versa. It was just a week or two ago on the quarantine episode, we were talking about if Alan Scott had a Green Lantern oath.
That's right. Yeah, we were talking about that was there an oath, and that sounds like there was an oath. I mean, I assume it's a very different oath to the one we know.
Yeah, I mean, he says it here, and I shall shed my light over dark evil, for the dark things cannot stand the light of the Green Lantern. It's, I don't know, not quite what we think of as we think of oath. With
it's very
different, but it's unique to him.
I kind of like the detail in that 2-page spread of the city below them. I like the way that they've drawn the lights and shadows, where it's just like the deep blacks of one side where the shadow is, but the rest of it's so lit from the opposing direction that there's no detail. I like that. It's a really good look to it. And the page after is really good as well, which is...
I love this page, especially the left half of this page.
Yes, it's the green beam going up from the city into space, and then the second side, because this is just 2 vertical panels that are just complete page height. The second panel is the light going from Earth all the way through space. So it's that, we talked about this a lot last issue, where the scale of the same state, then the city, then the country, then the world, then the planet, in the context of space. That's just kind of the same idea, and a much smaller scale, but it's just the sense that, we get the beam going from the city into the sky, and then we get the beam going from Earth into space, and it shows. Yeah, so it's just
the camera pulling back essentially from panel to panel.
Yeah, and Obsidian's no longer got his full outfit. His mask is gone, and he falls to Earth, and we have this kind of sad ending where Obsidian is not ready to lose, so he actually his stepfather Rice, he jumps in to get to him to stop him from doing what he's about to do, and he consumes him, but also himself. He kind of it's like he consumes out of the shadows, and then his own body kind of turns into the black shadow that's left, and there's just
he just becomes shadow, I guess.
Yeah. So he's not dead. He's somewhere. He's in the Shadowlands right now, I guess, is basically the gist of it. Until his return at some point, but it's a really sad ending though, because it's not like they didn't win, they didn't beat him, they beat him in the sense that they stopped his plan from happening, but they didn't win in the sense that he's not realized who he is, or got over his mental health issues, or had a moment of clarity.
He hasn't come back around to being a hero. Yeah,
and it's this kind of the bittersweet thing where they've kind of saved the day, but Alan flies off on his own. His cape's kind of ripped and torn at the bottom, and they're all looking up at him. And we actually go, and this is a nice little bookend to the start of the arc, because we started the arc, a couple issues ago with Jade calling Alan, and we get this page here of him just breaking down in her arms, saying, "I couldn't save him." It's a really really strong ending.
Powerful.
Yeah. And the rest are on the ship going back to base, and they're just kind of chatting about what's been going on. And one of them's talking to, or sorry, not one of them. Sorry. Wildcat's on the phone to Catwoman. Yeah,
there's a little comment that segues it. He'd have wanted to believe me. He's probably bored out of his mind right now.
Yeah, he's in the bathtub. He's got his rubber ducky, and he hears the noise. The alarm goes off in the headquarters. And we see that he's a bit more. For a second, I thought I saw a penis in one of the panels.
Is it the bottom of his leg when he's running on that top right? I know exactly what you're looking at.
Yeah, I just caught it in the side of my eye and went, wait, is that his penis?
It's his raised leg.
Yes.
Where you can't see most of the leg because it's covered by the towel. It's just it's like his foot maybe behind where it's lifted because he's running.
Don't get me wrong, if that was his penis, it's at a weird angle coming from a weird place, but it's just close enough that I'm like, wait,
yeah, you just kind of, your eye catches it and goes, wait, what's that sticking out there? Because there's just a shape in between the leg areas where you're like, what's that?
He jumps out of the bathtub though, and he runs, and then we get the big full page cliffhanger, which is the Injustice Society with Johnny Sorrow leading them. We'll get into who each of these members are, because I don't remember them all off the top of my head name wise, but I'm pretty sure that's Icicle, right? The ace one?
Junior, yeah?
Maybe Junior, yeah, one of the Icicles.
Yeah.
Let's get Icicle anyway.
Yeah, that's Artemis at the bottom right, I think.
I think you're right, yeah. Is that Killer Moth, or is that...
It could be Killer Moth, yeah.
Yeah, we'll find the next issue.
And that looks like Vertigo, right at the top.
Oh, yeah, you're right, yeah, that's Vertigo. So... Yeah, I'm not sure who the... He's got a C in his belt. Oh, was that Geomancer?
It is Geomancer. Yeah. Honestly, I've skipped ahead. It is Icicle, not Icicle Junior, just Icicle. I'd have thought that was Junior by the look of it, but looks a lot young. Looks young in that panel there, to be honest.
Well, that's it. So exciting team though. I have a lot of fun with the next issue from what I remember, so I'm excited to dive back into that one. But I do love this setup though of like Wildcat having his own little adventure when everyone else is on their way back.
Yeah.
It's a very condensed issue because it's just this time span of him on his own in the building with all these villains. It's really good stuff, and it really, I think if you didn't like Wildcat already, the next issue kind of sets him up as being like, oh no.
Not to ruin the next episode or anything, but it's going to take a hell of an issue for JSA not to win issue of the week.
Well, we'll see. All right, what are we giving this issue though?
Very good. This is a solid 8.5.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm trying to think of what's holding it back from being higher, and there's not a lot really. It's just maybe the fight in the first half between Alan and Obsidian until the ending's great, but it's maybe a little undefined before that, where it's just kind of
stuff's happening,
but there's not really any sort of like there's no sort of progression to follow where you can kind of see it progress from one beat to the next until the ending. So I think that's maybe my one complaint about it. But
honestly, one of my complaints would be as well, Midnight just kind of is forgotten about pretty much after the last issue or so.
Yeah, there's like one moment towards the end where someone asks him to join. I think Sand.
Yeah, but
asked him to join.
Ultimately, he has virtually no contribution to the issue, which, given that he was so instrumental over the last issue, just of spearheading this counter attack and this defense, he feels very forgotten about here.
Yeah,
that would probably have raised it up higher if he'd got a bit. It didn't have to be as prominent as the previous issue, but if it felt like a worthy follow-up.